Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Today, we are going to be looking at YouTube channels, branding, packaging, the whole lot of it. And I'm super excited to get started with you. If you are joining us live, welcome, and I can't wait to see you in the chat. If you are brand new to what we are doing here, we do channel reviews, and there's a couple ways you can get a channel review. So, the couple of ways you can get a channel review are number one, you are active in participating in the YouTube live chat. Number two, you are a part of the KDCC Discord server. So, if you are unaware of what that is, we'll have a link in the description down below of where you can join our server. We have a feedback section where people have already asked for feedback, and we're actually going to pull some of those into the stream. And as always, if you're brand new, super chats, if you give a super chat, you are eligible for either yourself a review or donating it to someone in the chat. So, with all of that out of the way, super excited just to get started and have some fun. So, with that, I think we're going to start with using the chat. So, if you are just joining, you're just getting started, all you have to do to get a review is type hashtag KDCC in the chat, and we will draw someone using Streamyard, one of our very good friends tool. Streamyard lets you easily live stream from a browser, love it, or you can record local videos. So if you want a review, you're watching live in the chat, type in hashtag KDCC. Now, while that is happening, I know some of you might be curious on, how can I get one from your Discord server? So we're going to discuss that as well. So while we're doing that, I see Jeremy Growth. Good to see you. I see Ember Sky Media, our Discord member of the month. Great to see you. I also see Dimmy Hard, who's always here. Love seeing it. Ike, the person that puts the do and done in the can do creator community. I see the in between. A lot of new people. Happy to have you here. Great to see everyone. I see Miss Carr's questions answered. Love seeing everyone. I know a lot of people came from Nick Nimmin. Nick Nimmin is a great friend of mine. Happy just to have everyone around and have some fun. Streamyard is on my wish list and faster internet. That last one cannot be understated. So again, if you would like your channel review in chat, I need you to type in hashtag KDCC because we're going to be using StreamYard's giveaway tool. It should look exactly like this. Once you do that, we can pull from it. Now, because I've done that, if I get it, I guess it'll be my pick of the lot. So we're going to have some fun with it. Really excited to get more people here. So if you want to get your channel reviewed, it's on screen. Type that in the chat. Now, while we're waiting, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking at the Can Do Creator Discord server and explain how, if you've already done a review there, we can pull from there. So if you've never seen a Discord, I will go full screen here on the Discord, and I will actually make this a little easier for those and get rid of the branding. So one thing I will say when it comes to Discord is we have our rules and roles. If you're not sure how to use Discord, you're brand new, you're learning about it for the first time, this area is really going to be helpful to understand what we're looking for. We also have the helpful how-to Discord section. I'm seeing some entries. Keep typing in hashtag KDCC, as I mentioned earlier. So here we have what is Discord. We talk about forums. We talk about everything you need to know. But what we're going to be focusing on as we go to those forums is on the left-hand side here. Once you've been in the Discord, you're active enough, there is our YouTube feedback section. And this is where we're actually going to be pulling from today. So we can see efficient pivot methods, 90-second video reviews, overall video audit. And we're going to be talking about these. We're going to pull from these as well. Now, if you want to know what you need to do, it is very simple. Here, if you don't follow the instructions, your review will be deleted. This comes from Mike. All you need to do is first review someone else to get a review yourself. I want to be on screen for this. The way this works is if you review someone else, we look at that, give you a role so you can ask for a review. The whole thing is we want people to get feedback and give feedback. And if you do this, it helps us know people are giving feedback. Now, as we say here, if you just post great video, that's not really helpful feedback. So we are monitoring, we are watching, but that's how you can get feedback from the server. You'll create a post we'll exit out of this. We'll select new post. Here you should select whether it's video feedback or channel feedback. So in this case, it'd be channel feedback. You're going to type in a title. I'm going to say, does my channel compel you? Just as an example. And if I could learn how to spell, that would be even better. But then you would type in from this post, you can copy in this template. From here, you're going to go channel name. What do you need feedback on? Link to channel/video. And then we can give you feedback. So that's kind of how it works. That's one of the ways that we're going to be giving feedback today. And of course, as always, super chats take priority. I always say that because people are like, what? But if someone gives us money here on the YouTube side of the house, we try to make sure we give them priority seating. So with that, I see that we are ready. I am going to go ahead and click on the add to stream. We are going to do the giveaway tool. Let's see how this goes. Granted, if I get picked, it's my choice of the people who have been there. I see people are saying the server is awesome. I see from Genealogy with Amy Johnson Crow, the Discord is so well organized. Thank you. We did our best. And I know we've been working. I see Ember Sky says that's fair. Money rules the world. To be fair, I know what it's like to have given a super chat for something and trying to earn it and never getting it. So I do my best to try to honor that. But let's go ahead and start with these free ones. Hopefully, I don't. If it's me, I get to choose who it goes to. All right, Ike, who is it going to? You don't need to open StreamYard 2, nerd. You just need to type in the chat. That is it. You just need to. You've already done your part. Once it is there, you just go. So right now it's on Ike. Ike, who are we choosing to review? No pressure. Ike goes, no. But don't worry, we will keep enjoying this. So as we figure out Ike, who Ike wants, we are going to have just a little bit more fun. So Ike, figure that one out for us. Now, you can look earlier, Ike, on who's done it. Please do not pick me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pick someone. So it's an Ike's call, no pressure. But don't worry, we're going to do more with the giveaway tool. We have other phrases. We're going to have more fun. So I think, whoever Ike picks, that's where we're going from. And don't worry, we have more opportunities for you to be pulled from this chat. Hello. I'll nominate the in-between, LOL. All right. Ike has chosen the in-between. So the in-between, do you want me to pull from your Discord? You're the one you put there, or do you want to pull from the channel you're on here? Let me know. So if you're wondering how I picked that, Ike chose the in-between. Gonna go on that, and then we're gonna go take a deeper dive. So waiting on what Ike recommends for this one. Or actually, I guess what the in-between recommends. So do you want me to pull from your Discord one? Do you want me to pull from your channel? As that is going on, I'm going to go on YouTube on the side to make sure that I am actually participating. This one is good. So let me go ahead and bring up the in-between. So one thing I've noticed and I always love showing this, is I wanted to make sure that we call attention to a couple of things. So first and foremost, I noticed that you don't have your channel name, the in-between, in the description here. And the reason I'm going to point this out is notice how it is bolded like the. It's looking for a match between your channel name and what is in your about page. And the in-between is not in there. So that's something you can immediately add to any channel you're a part of, anything you're doing there, just to kind of help yourself do a little bit better. Now, I see that you have it later, but you have to remember on YouTube, a lot of times they pull from those first 150 to 200 characters. So you could say that the in-between focuses on true stories of the dark, the strange, dark, and the mysterious, and tales of the, kind of go from that. So that's just one of the way I see that. I wasn't aware of that. Yes, that is something they're doing. Another thing they're doing is pulling from your channel keywords to kind of look, again, think about it. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So that's one of those things that they're looking for. If people are searching for your name, you want to make sure it's in your channel keywords. You want to make sure it's in your about section. And of course, it's your channel name. Now, one thing I will say when I look at your channel that is very apparent to me, because I started on the about section, is that YouTube is 100% of the time reading the about section. But what I found and what I've heard from a couple of people at VidCon and VidSummit, is that they find that most people don't make it to the about section on the channel page. They tend to really stay on the home, video, and content side of the house. So what I would say here is this has a lot of information, but I'm not too sure about your banner. If I'm brand new, I don't actually know if I would get strange, untold stories, the mysterious. Again, this could just be recency bias, which is absolutely a thing. This kind of reminds me of like some of the AI imagery I've been seeing. So again, I see storyteller, I the bee, storyteller. I'm like, oh, are they making stories with AI? Again, it's recency bias, but just keeping aware that this is a lot of real estate that is unused. And I know a lot of people will tell you that the channel page isn't that important. I've been on channels where they get 10% of their audience gets viewership from their channel page, and these are channels with millions of subscribers. So 10% of millions is actually pretty good and valuable. So make sure that you have this destination set up because it's super. It does, and right here, it does look like it could potentially be Storyteller AI. And I got you. I can make the banner clearer for sure. And again, this is just my my reading of it. I see, and I'd always if you're watching and you're wanting a channel review, take notes. Make some of these changes to your channel. If you don't have your channel in the description or about page, that's something you can easily do. So just wanted to make sure we put it there. Welcome to Power of Purpose. But as we continue going through and looking at this channel, I want to go a little, deeper if I can remember to put this somewhere. Will you get out of here? Well, it's not letting me. There we go. Sometimes the tool doesn't work as you want. So, looking here, real life horror, 5 terrifying stories from Reddit. My question is real life horror more searched or terrifying stories from Reddit? It could be real life horror. Then I would go on what is more searchable. I also think, looking here, this isn't bad at all. I think it's actually pretty good. It's got some decent keywords, but is it compelling? Maybe it's something as you won't believe these 5 terrifying stories from Reddit. Again, you being the audience. It's still focusing on these 5 terrifying stories from Reddit. And then maybe you could put like the colon or however you want, real life horror. This might be a series name, which I'm unsure. I'm going to look at the playlist. I see scary, true cryptid stories, park ranger, true paranormal. It's leading me to believe that it might actually be, content that is in a playlist, which could be, but it's something that as a new user, I'm not super aware of. I see here it's creepy and unexplained stories. I see if I was a normal viewer, I wouldn't make sense of the banner right now. Some pretty good feedback. I see this here. We're actually going to have a new hashtag every time to pull from. So you got to be active in the chat, got to be watching, participating. The next one, I'm not sure how you're going to feel about it, but I love it. So going back to the channel, another thing I would like to tell you is if I'm brand new, I kind of don't know where to start except from this trailer. It's good to know these are your popular uploads. One thing that I found, especially when it comes to the playlist or the creation of a YouTube channel, is that YouTube rarely ever features the popular videos from a channel or their recent uploads. But if you create your own, so this could be the in between tales, popular uploads, or favorite videos. You could call it favorite videos, but really it's just your popular uploads. Or you can say community favorite, and really, again, it's just your popular uploads. But I always say new to the channel or want to get started watching content, again, give them a clear indication of where they can go. If you're into streaming or you look at those platforms, they always have what's new, what you can expect, what we recommend you watch. And your YouTube channel page can have that level of in-depth here. Another good thing about when you have playlists is that they actually have a description that shows on your page. Like I'm sure if I go and click deeper into these multiple playlists that you have here, let's click here and then I'll go here. You actually get these playlist descriptions, which can really help you in terms of SEO, can help you in getting discovered. So I think it's super important that you really consider having, instead of multiple playlists, I don't think it's bad that you have that. Maybe put that a little lower. Have individual playlists that show what you're doing, how you are getting there, and just new ways that people can start on it is super important. Because right now, when I go back to your channel, I kind of don't really know where to get started. I guess I'm going to click your most popular video, and maybe that's exactly what you want. Another thing is when you are just starting, I do think it's awesome that you have your similar channels. Do keep in mind that the way YouTube's going to see this is that if someone clicks on what lurks beneath, you've ended your watch session, and now they're giving watch time to someone else. And that might be your exact, exactly. Again, nerd, we're gonna be changing the hashtag. So it's not gonna always be that. Don't worry, I will tell you guys on screen. But you just want to keep in mind that when you have similar channels, if your goal is to keep people, YouTube's goal is to keep people on platform. So therefore, your goal should be the same thing. What I'd recommend if you want to feature channels or things like this, maybe you have a playlist where it is gonna be a combination of content you've done and maybe collabs with them. I find that tends to be a little bit more beneficial for both sides. That way, if they do like that channel, they can check them out while still watching your content. So those are just some of the things I would say. I used to give reviews and letters and all that, but what I will say for this one, I think I'm just gonna give it, if you hit the whole KDCC, we're gonna say K is, 1, 2, 3, and if you get the exclamation mark, that's 5 out of 5. So I think I'm gonna give you a very solid KDC. So you get a 4 out of 5 there, having a little bit of fun with it. So you have a KD so you don't have the exclamation mark, but you're doing a lot right. I would say just really think about how it would look from an outside perspective. And yeah, I see here. I thought if they click on the bigger but similar channels, it would create a connection with our stuff. No, not necessarily. What YouTube is, if you had that video playlist where you're collabing, absolutely. I mean, what you can absolutely do is direct people away from your content, which is what that can do. The problem is that would be great thinking if that's how it worked. It doesn't work exactly like that. Now, YouTube will tell you that's how it was designed. How something's designed is not exactly how it is used. I think that is something we can all learn from. So I think what's more beneficial is if you have collabs with them, put that there. So it's like channels we've worked with so that YouTube that will immediately make a connection, especially if you can feature multiple pieces of content within that playlist. So that could be a little bit more beneficial in the way that you're trying, in the way that YouTube would look for, in the way that I think would work best for you. Now, the next ones we are going to do. I see that Ember Sky Media is here. He is our Discord user of the month. If you are unaware, we have a Discord server linked in the description. We have a feedback section there where we look at channels. Now, that is where we're going to be pivoting to this one. But while we are doing that, the next hashtag, if you're here in the chat and you want to get in the wheel, it is going to be on screen now. It is hashtag Ike Does. If you want to get a channel review from here, just type in hashtag Ike Does exactly as it is spelled on screen here, and you can get pulled into get a channel review. Uh I see Ike is thrilled. She is so thrilled. She is red in the face with joy. Hashtag Ike Does. That is definitely the reading of that emoji, I am sure. I see from Miss Carr's question answered. I just want to say this discussion, seeing what other people are doing and hearing these tips is therapeutic. Well, I'm happy to provide you some therapy. I mean, I know when I started on YouTube, right? This is back in the day of 2006. So I've almost been on this platform. We do some quick math. Ooh, too long is what I'm learning. So there wasn't things like this. So knowing that we can give back, knowing the community that we do have, I think it's fun. So I think that just wanted to just have a little bit of fun. I see Stanley Orchard in the building. Happy Sunday, folks. Actually late. We are just doing the review stream. We're pulling from the Discord now. So I wanted to pull up one of our members over there who's super active. Just wanted to appreciate you, Amber Sky Media or photography, depending on how we pivot here. Some foreshadowing if you know, you know. So Why did Streamyard decide it knew best? I love Streamyard, but that was not the. It was like, we've decided to remove you. I'm like, excuse me. Should be good. So am I back now? Hopefully I am. That was a little odd. That was not the move. StreamYard decided, we've decided to remove you to focus more on the screen share. I was like, whoa. Also, sorry, just ended up playing, watch this video, Lumix GH6. Hopefully you guys can hear me back. Hopefully we're all good. We can hear you. Perfect. That was a weird decision there. We'll talk to StreamYard about that. Anyway, so, I know that you're working on your pivot. You'll notice that you're already making changes to feature more birding and nature content on your channel. You still need to think of a new banner if Ember Sky Media is the best name. I, again, like the name Media because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. I think getting rid of some of the, like in the banner, maybe focusing on some birding stuff that you mentioned here and nature. I think that maybe you could have a shot similar to what you have in your featured video of birds or, things like that can really kind of help you with that new branding. One of the things when you do, so at least you still have your audience, you're right. So one thing I would say is when you are considering, birding, one thing I would say, and this is based on your current banner as well, and I'll keep the yellow too, is that a lot of times this is a mistake I've made in my past banners, is that there's too much value towards you as a creator and not a clear value for someone who is brand new watching. So maybe when you are switching to birding, it's something as simple as, you want to show, you're fascinated, you love birding, helping you find your love of birding and photography or something like that. Just something that is very quick and easy that if someone is joining, they can understand what you do, what value you provide, and just really go deeper there. And I think that can help. So I would say, just a little bit more value to the people that are brand new, not familiar with you. Another thing I could say is I think that you have a really great font and color scheme here. I like that you're in the banner. I think, I've done a video on this. There are ways that you can get the audience involved where it's like, I'm trying to help this many birders or join this or different ways that through stream elements is the name of it, that you can get your banner to be interactive. So I think that your banner's not bad, but I would definitely say maybe focus a little bit more on the nature background. I like the color scheming you have, maybe with, the nature side. Like I think this video is quite impressive. I think the colors on it is incredible. So maybe you kind of focus more on that natural look. Maybe have a little bit of sky. Maybe it's like a bird in a tree and there's the sky, so you can still play on the originality of the channel without, leaving it completely. Just an idea. I see that you said that you have a new telescope arriving next week. It's for beginners, but it also has bird tracking features. Thinking of it as a bridge product between the two worlds. I have 6 videos planned for it, but can expand in the future as time goes. I think that's really a great idea, is to bridge those pieces of content. And as you guys are watching, feel free to agree or disagree with me in the chat. We can all, work here. But one thing I will say, when it comes to any piece of content, when you are pivoting, you should always bridge the content. So I would say you're thinking correctly on trying to bridge the two, and I think a telescope is a natural way. Keep in mind, the way YouTube is going to take a look at your channel is based on the content type that you put out. So hopefully you're going to space out these 6 videos, because if you put out 6 telescope videos, the way YouTube's going to see it is, okay, there's a lot of focus on telescopes. Is this a telescope channel? Now, that may not be your intent. So within those, maybe you can say sky photography, but focusing more on birds. So keeping the idea of birding and your previous, but also the new audience. So you don't want to make YouTube confused or put it in a place that's not really your intention to go. I've seen it happen a lot where, people are trying to bridge and they're really excited about a piece of content. In your case, it's a telescope. And then YouTube's like, aha, I figured it out. It's a telescope channel. And you're like, not really. I see how we got here. Not really. So just be a little careful. I think the bridge is the right call. I would say maybe some other pieces of content. And the good thing is, if you are batch recording, which is like you're doing a lot of these, telescope videos, if the first one does really well, then maybe ride that wave, give 2 pieces. And then in that second piece, as you're still editing it, that's when you can go, hey, next video is going to be this. Just something to keep in mind. Also, moving forward in any of your videos, the best call to action on YouTube lately, instead of being like watch, comment, subscribe, or like, comment, subscribe, tends to actually be, if you like this video, watch this one as well. Because YouTube has enough data by analyzing viewer behaviors to kind of know if someone's going to be a subscriber or not. Not to say you should never make your call to action be a subscribe. You should still have a subscribe animation, but your call to action where you verbally speak it should tend to be watch another piece of content. At least that's what I keep finding more lately. So I see here you're also looking into burning specific products, binos, gimbals, heads, etc. But my channel to maximize my buy cost for equipment and leverage that you already have. I think that is very smart. I think that within the pivot, you could definitely talk about those pieces of gear, talk about how you bought them for this, but they're also really good for this. And that burning is, how you're really going to be focusing on this channel. If you want to watch content on burning, watch here. Kind of going into that last tip I gave. Why pivot? You said a few reasons, but mainly interest in astrophotography isn't enough to sustain my channel, and there is a lot of other stuff I want to incorporate with my cameras. Also, where the channel makes the most money isn't the astro videos, irony there. So from a money point, it you views it as a lost leading endeavor. Eventually you could, big astro channels with plenty of money coming in, but it would take too long. So you want to maintain your current subs by, any pivot, you're going to lose subscribers. I see that you're mainly looking at the best change to the channel. People are right agreeing with nature versus astro. I would say start with where you want them to be, not where that you used to be. If a store or a restaurant or a business has new management or change, they usually advertise that, and it's for a reason. And it's to let the people who are familiar with it know it's changed, and to let people who have never heard of it know that something new is there. And that is something that you can take into the channel. I think that, I would focus on your banner changes and things like that almost immediately, more so than the latter, because when you don't focus on it so immediate, it actually can be a problem for new people. I know that I posted in here about, what Nick said in his stream the other day, which is maybe privating some of the other content. I realize that's not your want and that you still want it to exist on the channel. You don't have to private it all right away. One thing you could do is a slow rollout. So for every 2 new videos, you private one that didn't perform as well. It doesn't have to be your popular. It can be some of the lesser popular ones. So for every 2 new pieces, you take off one, and that gives you some opportunity to keep some of that content up while slowly giving the audience that new piece. So I think that, your pivot is smart, and it's matching not only what you enjoy, but your, financial needs. And what I think that is a smart way to look at this. So when I'm looking at, how you're thinking of it, I think you're thinking of it spot on. So Ember Sky, I would say for you, since you're looking more so for a holistic, I'm not really going to give a grade, but I love your thinking. So I'm just going to give you, the KDCC appreciates you, the whole gambit. So hopefully that gives you some thoughts into, you know, how you're thinking, what you wanted to do. I would just say keep in mind those changes. I see Music Train says your channel looks fine, mate. Keep going, make the viewers will arrive. So unfortunately, I know from experience, viewers can find your content, but it's always better when you think of your viewers first and you make the content intentionally. And I think that's what Ember Sky Media is doing here, is having a level of intentionality with the content so that when it comes time for, building what Ember wants, it's in the books, it's in the zeitgeist, and I think it's the right way to do it. So you can absolutely build it and they will come. It's also very smart to build it with intentionality, and I think that's what Ember is pivoting to. So that's all I would say there. Now, we are going to pull from the chat. I'm super excited for this. Remember, everyone, the hashtag, I'll give people just a little bit more time, is hashtag Ike does, because Ike puts the do in done in the can do creator community. Don't worry, Ike, that joke will die after the stream and that video will live on forever. So cheers to that. I'm going to practice what I preach to Nick Nimmin and drink water. But I see that Nerd said giving some feedback. I would divide the astronomy picture. Ember Sky said, bridge, my 2 cents. On the field test video, could maybe benefit from a small edit and cut out the zoom out portion when the bird gets a bit out of frame. Interesting. I see from Ember, banner is half done, just waiting for this feedback, so it will change in a few hours. Please post that in the thumbnail section of the Discord. Would love to look at it. All right. Will I have to pick again, or will we actually get someone new? If you've had your channel reviewed and I pick you again, we're skipping you. That's not the point of this. Although if it is me, I am going to be a little upset because now I have to pick, and I prefer being told. Nerd is our winner. Congratulations, Nerd. Good to see you here. Let's go ahead and pull up your YouTube channel. So I'm going to stop my screen share here. Gonna make my way over to your channel. But while we are doing that, just wanted to say thank you everyone who has been here live. Been having a lot of fun with this. So I recognize you, Nerd, when you commented on the community post. I've seen you around the channel. I do appreciate your being here for quite a bit. So just wanted to say thank you for that. It doesn't go unnoticed. Now, the next one is going to be a different keyword. So before everyone gets in the chat and gets excited about, oh, I'm going to type, I know there might be a different one. All right. So Nerd, let's go ahead and pull up your channel. Now, the first thing I will tell you, Nerd, and this is something that is going to be kind of important for you, I think, in your YouTube channel lifetime, is that it was kind of difficult to find your YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and add you to the stream. Because the word nerd is so searched and, you know, it is popular, I had to go to a comment you posted on my video to find your channel. So one thing I would say is with your YouTube channel name, it's very difficult to find. I would maybe think about changing it to make it a little bit more, discoverable. But looking here, I see that you have a good amount of videos. I see Just Remember When There's Zombies to Haul, Better Call Raul, but I'm assuming it's like Raul. If I go to the about, I'm the biggest nerd in history of nerds, and you can't do nothing about it. Hopefully we can do. Can do. That's our motto, our creed. We can do this. It makes me mad not subscribing to my friend who is an intellectual. What I would say here is that this is super fun and funny, but I would have to give the same feedback that I gave to the in between a bit earlier, and it's remembering that not a lot of people make their way to the about. But YouTube is looking at your about 100% of the time to help push in, search and suggested, things like that. So I would say just keep in mind that one hill you're going to have is that because nerd is so used, it's going to be very hard for people to discover and find your channel. And I don't think that's your intention. I think that, maybe even the biggest nerd in history could be a fun channel name, because it's like, I've been watching the biggest nerd in history and they're like, what? And then they're like, no, that's a channel name. I don't know if that's already exists. It could. So maybe do some research there. I'll look up the biggest nerd in history. And looking here, we'll go to the filters. We'll go to channel level. Is there a channel with that name? No, but it is a little funny that Defunct Land came up and some of these other channels. But maybe that is, it is something. I do see Ike's point to the biggest nerd in history is a long, it's quite the channel name. It is a bit long, but it is definitely one of the, I think where its length, if it is too long for YouTube, sorry about that, but I think where its length it's so memorable, I think you can get away with the length. So, so I say I like the biggest nerd. Nerdy make nerd face. Some suggestions there. Name myself nerdiest of nerds, as long as it's not used or things like that. Like, I think you should be fine. Again, we'll just go back to channel. I think you could be okay. Just again, look that it's not already a thing. But I think you actually could use the nerdiest of nerds. And I think this, the base nerd and nerddom. We're getting a lot of channel suggestion names here. I think we're all having a lot of fun. But again, this is what your channel is trying to do. It's bringing joy. I think that's the about what you're trying to do here with the about. I I think there's a lot of fun that you're having here, and I think that your channel name can just reflect that and be a little more searchable for yourself. because right now, the biggest thing I'm having a hard time doing is finding you. And I would hate if I'm one of your 56 subscribers to be like, hey, I'm loving this new YouTube channel. What's his name? Nerd. Oh, that's me. No, he's Nerd. Look up Nerd on YouTube. Good luck. It's gonna be very, very competitive. So I think, Nerdiest of Nerds is a little bit more searchable in terms of I feel like you'd have a lot better authority. If you include that in the about section, again, what YouTube is looking for, about section keywords, I think that's really good. Meet the Sniper, but in PPG and made poorly. I love these kind of titles, and I think, as you can see, this is done very well. I think you can let more of your humor shine. I think that makes sense, but I would maybe have some playlist. I love chill IKEA music. Like that shows your humor, but it's not in the homepage here. So you can have this kind of style, but I feel like if I'm a new user, I don't get that. I just see videos. So maybe for you, right? Since you're going for this more tongue in cheek kind of style, you're like, my audience thinks this is good. Maybe you will. And that can be your first playlist. And you could have more stuff just kind of again showing your different senses of humor, showing more content, because as it is a little bit challenging to find content on it. I see that you said that you only have one playlist and that was made before the channel. Again, if I'm brand new to your channel, I have no idea any of this. I'm looking at it as if I just found your channel. I'm getting really excited about your content. And so I just keep that in mind. And you know what else I'm going to get people to keep in mind? If you're enjoying this live stream, maybe consider sharing this with someone else who would enjoy getting some feedback, learning a bit, becoming a part of the Can Do creator community. I'm having a lot of fun with everyone here. Just wanted to say thank you for letting me look at your channels. We've had a lot of fun already. And, let's go back to the review. So that would be my next thing. And I do think your banner is pretty funny. I would my only thing would be just remember when there's zombies to haul, better call Raw or subscribe, whatever works for you. Maybe have a little bit more fun. Again, that tongue-in-cheek humor I keep seeing in the about that I'm not seeing here. I think that could work very well. If I look at your channelytics, I can kind of see some of the channel keywords. If you're never sure about what channel keywords to include, they should be, if you're a gaming channel, the games you're playing. You could do, nerdiest of nerds, nerd, you can really tag around that, things like that. So if you want to know how to post vertical videos, there's a feature within Adobe Express that lets you do that. It is a feature where you upload it. I am an Adobe Express ambassador in full disclosure. And, one of the things when it comes to branding and packaging is like shorts are super important. There's a feature within Express that if you have a long form video, hold on, actually, I'll show this off. So I'll just go full screen while I trust my audience. I don't want to give you my password on live. That's just not my goal. Not my desire, I hope you guys can forgive me. We can understand mutual, understandings. But, there's a lot that you can do. So the Adobe Express is free. They have a lot that you can do. If you want to resize the video, you just, browse and drag it. Sure, I'll say this is the video I want to resize. So this is a video I shot for a video. You can choose what size you want it. You can actually edit, how you see it. So this is an easy way to do that. You can adjust the scale. You can zoom in. If you don't know how to do it and just want a simple way, it's Adobe Express. We have it linked in the description down below. It's just something that you can use. It's very easy. Again, just wanted to show that off. If you're unaware, it's one of the easiest ways to do it, in my opinion. LOL, I forgive you, Andrew. Yes. I can't believe you wouldn't trust me with your password. Oh, as long as you guys can find it in your hearts to forgive me, I think we can all get along. But I'm glad that you said you don't have Adobe Express, but get it soon. Again, I love it. I use it all the time. It's helped me a lot, especially when it comes to doing videos or if I'm on the go. So just something you can use. I would say, again, if I were to just take a look, I love the humor. I would just consider the name, have a little bit more fun with your banner. I think the tone's right. Make some more playlists. Experiment with vertical video. That could do very well for you. And overall, I'm going to give you a KDC. That's a 3 out of 5. I think you have a lot to work on and improve, but don't we all? Hopefully that's helpful. And again, I want to be able to, when people are like, hey, do you have that channel? I want them to be able to find it. And again, it took a bit to find your channel, and I don't want that to be the case. So from that, just want to say thank you. Now, feeling generous, I'm going to go 2 for 2 in this giveaway tool. All right, are we all ready? Get your fingers ready for the next one. Because the next one, are we ready? Are we on the edge of our seats? Hopefully, I'm going to have some fun with something here. The hashtag. I'm definitely not buying time as I type this into the giveaway tool. Definitely not what is happening here. Hopefully you guys understand my humor. If not, I apologize. Here, a lot of times Andrew can, but today Andrew can. Hashtag Andrew can't. If I can't, who can't? That is definitely not the channel, but it's a little fun. So Andrew can't with a T. Just put it in the chat there on screen. That's how we're going to pull another one. As I look at the Discord, if you would like Discord feedback, go ahead and put it in there. I think it's something that, is super fun. We're going to pull the next one from that, but we have a lot of people, a lot of times Andrew can't. Today Andrew can't, and that is just the reality of the situation. So rip Andrew can't, says Ike. I feel bad typing that. Rip Andrew couldn't, Andrew wouldn't, Andrew shouldn't. We could have a lot of fun rhyming here. Again, you got to have some fun with your audience, your viewers. I love jokes like that. Welcome, Scatha. Great to see you. Hopefully I am pronouncing that right from the Discord. We've been really good engaging and having conversation with you. So hopefully you feel the same. They're actually like, you, Andrew, I can't. Again, the word is Andrew can't. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, all you have to do there is type it in the chat while we are enjoying some of this. I want to show off a little bit more of Adobe Express. So more specifically, Adobe Colors, which is a free feature of Adobe, because I know a lot of you are working on your banners, right? And there's things that you want to get better at, things like that. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite kind of features. And this, you don't even have to sign into Adobe for this one. Like, that's one of the things. I'll make sure to include it in the description down below. So this is just a fun, it's called Adobe Color. I'll make sure that we have this linked. I'll put it in the chat. So if you want to play around with this, if you are working on a brand new, banner or anything like that, there are a lot of ways that you can do it. You can make sure that your branding is accessible, which I think is super important. You can extract a gradient, or you can extract a theme. So let's just say I am a huge Spider-Man PS4 fan, because I am, and it's a great example for what's in my head. But I love this image, right? This image, I think the colors are good. I think that Spidey looks great. This one too. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag and drop, and look at that. Adobe Color will pull from this image a color palette for me. So this is something that you can immediately pull. I can choose if I want it to be brighter. Maybe I want a different color scheme, and it will adjust. Maybe I want it more muted, and it's pulling more from the city. The cool thing is I can adjust. So if I want it muted, but I still want some of that red on Spider-Man, there we are. If I want it deeper, more saturated, richer colors, I can do that, and it will pull those richer colors. So if you are struggling, because trust me, I can't do colors well, huh? This is such a useful feature. It is free. And all you have to do is whatever editor you're using. Again, I like Adobe Express. I like Photoshop. Full disclosure. You can copy them. Take this ID. Save them in your deck. Heck, screenshot it. Keep them always. Send it to your designer. And you can find it. I want a gradient from it. It can pull from it. So let's say I want, the blue of the sky, the red of the suit, back to the dark blue of the suit. And looky here, a gradient that it is made for me. And I can play around with it. If I want it to be, more on the darker colors, I want it to be more on the lighter colors, I can play with this. I want to, go a little bit more one side or the other, I can. And notice how the gradient updates. This is free. This is fun. And then you can take this into Adobe Express, your brand new colors. If you have an Adobe account, you can save this to your library. So there, you can call this, I'll call this Spider-Man color theme, Spider-Man theme, save. and it saves. And then as I go into my Photoshop thing, that is something you can do, and it's free. You don't have to be logged in. That's the cool thing. Of course, at the time, if they change this in the future, I'm sorry. That's also one of those things. But I think we are ready for the giveaway winner. Just wanted a fun little interstitial there. Andrew can't. Let's see who can't get a review this time around. Goes to Ike again. Ike's like, no. Ike. Oh. Ike. Well, Ike, congratulations. Lightning struck twice. Ike, you choose once again. Ike is like, I did not sign up to be the person rigged. Honestly, Ike, it's not. It's just very funny. Oh. Hello, Thomas Montclair. Ike, it is your call on who gets a review. In between asked, does Adobe Express work well with Premiere Pro? It does depend in what way. I find it does. What I mean by that is it's owned by Adobe, right? And Adobe is known for their like ability to bring from one product software to another. They're working on a lot. I find that right now in its current state that they still have a long way to go, but if you already have the file and you bring it into Adobe Express, it's a lot easier than reframing, especially if you're sending it to someone or you want to work with someone who's not necessarily familiar with Premiere. I find that Express is a great in between to get them a little more familiar as they get there. Ike, it is your call. Who do you want me to take a look at? Ike is like, I hate this. This is the worst reality. So we're waiting on Ike's choice. As we're waiting on Ike's choice, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining LOL, a great in between. Ike is just sitting here looking at the chat going, oh no. So Ike, your call. But as we are waiting for Ike and Ike's call, Ike's choice, Ike left. I hope not. Ike's just like, I'm done with this. This was too much. This is not what I signed up for. I just wanted to guess, I'll show you more because you guys seemed pretty interested in the colors. So why don't we go ahead and go back to Adobe Express, and I'll show you how you can actually use that color kind of together. So Adobe Express has lots of templates. If you don't want to use a template, you don't have to. It's always up to you. But, you can have your own templates or you can choose from existing projects that you've made. As you can see, I actually made this banner here. So I am actually using it. So let's say I wanted to do YouTube stuff. We can click here, custom size graphic, go to social post. This is a little fast. I have a whole video on this. There's YouTube thumbnail next. And we're going to talk about how we're going to be doing it. I guess I don't see it. Am I blind? I like to nominate Ike's alternative. All right, Ike, I respect it. So Ike will be looking at Ike's channel, but this is the thumbnail tutorial. You can come in. Let's say I'm doing a drawing tutorial, but I want to incorporate the colors I just downloaded. So, it's going to have these, but if I go to, my saved stuff, I can actually pull in it in a different ways. So there's through logos and branding. So like if I wanted to, utilize my colors for the Can Do creator community, we actually have the brand that we can use. So there's the official brand colors of the Can Do creator community. I can say, let's switch the brand or let's use the brand. So I see you want to look at your own channel. We'll do that. But then I can choose the colors here. And what it's going to change is the bit that isn't the image. This is a stock image. So it's going to change the colors to play around with my own design and branding. And when you bring in your own color palette, like kind of as we did from the libraries, you can have a lot of fun with that. So we have our asset libraries, we have all of this that we can bring in. And so there's a lot that you can do with Adobe Express when it comes to branding and bringing it in. So I just wanted to say yes. That's something you can do. This is definitely, I would say it's similar to Canva. I would say it's Adobe's take on it. And obviously, I'm an Adobe user, so I like it because it goes to the Creative Cloud. So that's just a side thing. Let's go ahead though, because Ike's like, you know what? Let's look at Ike's alternative. I'm actually subscribed to Ike's alternative, so this one's not going to be too hard to find. He said before he can't find it. Ike's alternative. And let's go ahead. Ike's alternative. So remember when I said you can have that interactive thing that helps you, you know, let your audience know your goals? This is Ike's subscriber goal, I believe. We're at 490 here, almost at 500. I made a whole video on how you can get one of these, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But looking here, that that's actually pretty good. Ike's alternative, anime reactions every week, and then a little bit of the humor, probably. I see who Ike is twice. So Ike is featured twice. I see some of the reactions. This is actually kind of smart because if Ike wants, you could change out each of these individual ones for maybe what the new reactions are. Ike, I'm not sure if that is actually who, is actually doing that. But I would say that makes sense. I do see that you have an episode featured for returning subscribers. I see that you're featuring your, Yuri or Bait. One thing I would say is that when you are featuring multiple, reactions, I would maybe feature like one or two of your current ones just so that it's a little bit easier. Again, I think that could help a lot because when you have all of them, it's almost too much choice. And if you've ever been to like Cheesecake Factory or a restaurant or anything that has like a menu that's never ending, you almost are paralyzed by all that choice. So it is okay to guide a little bit, and that would be maybe one thing of critique I'd give. Other than that, though, I know that your thumbnails are good. I would maybe feature the video you and I are in. Just I featured it. Where is that? I'm just kidding. Ike and I did a reaction series that we definitely need to do some more on. But I do think that your playlist, your thumbnails are strong. You're having a high moment of the episode, a genuine reaction. I think that there are some that your audience reacts to a little bit more. As I'm looking at the different view counts, they're in the high hundreds to thousands. Oh, there we are. But I would say the thumbnails are really good for a reaction channel. Keep in mind that for your call to action should be at the start. If you haven't seen the last one, check it out here. If you want to watch this one, enjoy it. At the end, point to the next one. Very easy call to action for you to include organically. So I see that you said you put the latest ones in the front of the multiple playlist. Okay. I guess it's not super clear to me. And I could be wrong. Other people are like, yeah, I got that right away. But that's something I thought. It's interesting because I never give it's rare I give feedback to, Ike. So this is a unique experience for me. Ike's alternative, perfect. Again, exactly if someone was to find this through search, you could see exactly what to expect through Ike's alternative. Really good about there. I think it's smart that you have these links here because when YouTube is going to be looking here, they're going to pull from this. Makes a lot of sense. That's what I would say there. I would say that you're saying you're noticing a pattern here that you need some variety of anime. That could be the niche that Ike's going for on this channel. Sometimes people are like, all you talk about is YouTube and content creation on my channel. I'm like, that's kind of what I do. So I've heard that before. So it really depends on what the channel as the owner you're going for. I see that you have some shorts, and I know you said you've been experimenting with the shorts. I'm curious on if you're remixing or what's your strategy to like redirect to the longer form content. So that is something I would keep in mind. I think that, what I found, especially like working on multiple channels, is like including the link in the description of the short, editing it a little bit on desktop can go a long way. So that's something I would say there. I think that my only feedback would be maybe try featuring some more individual playlists. Go into your analytics and see are people actually interacting with the Yuri bait kind of playlist, and you can kind of do that just by clicking on here, jumping to analytics, and then from there, you know going by playlist, breaking it down. It's kind of complicated, and it might be different for yours because YouTube used to let you look at multiple playlists, and then they kind of changed their philosophy on it. Gotta love YouTube making changes. I don't think they changed their philosophy as much as it was one of those things that kind of got overlooked, which tends to happen. It's a huge platform, YouTube. I don't think that's an easy job at all. I think Renee Ritchie's doing a great job, but that's a difficult job to be the voice of the creators. I like how you link your full length reactions to the Patreon. You have your socials. That makes sense. I'd say that I think that would be my main critique is consider including maybe a couple of playlists for people wanting to start on your channel. Maybe they're brand new to Yuri and somehow or slice of life or all these things and have found you through that. And I think it could be a really good starting point. So just some feedback there. And another thing you could do is you have a playlist of all of your series starts where it's like get started here and it's episode 1. And if you set up your playlist well where it's all those episode ones and they're interacting and giving feedback to one another or helping them in that video or like check out the next one and there's a card or a call to action to watch more content. It absolutely can work. I've seen it work well for some creators. So that'd really be my main feedback, and I'd give you a KDCC with an exclamation mark because Ike is known for putting the do and done. Let Ike know that in the Discord. She loves hearing it. All right. I feel that was a little cheeky. Wasn't what we were going for. You can never the good thing about the giveaway tool is it is random. The bad thing about it is I cannot control if Ike wins it. So if Ike wins again, I'm just going to skip and we're going to redraw. I think it's only fair. But I wanted to give a shout out to a good friend of mine who recently came in, brought us a lot of members, always has been a supporter of the channel, been a great friend in my entire time on YouTube. I would say let's go to hashtag Nick Nimmin. We are going to have hashtag Nick Nimmin shouting out to the Nimminati out there. If you have come from Nick Nimmin, I appreciate your time. All you have to do to get a review is type in Nick Nimmin. The next one will be from the Discord server. So if you haven't, please go ahead. I see Generation with Amy Johnson Crow. Ike's like, please don't make me choose again. Again, good and bad size. No hashtag from me. Ike's figured it out. Magic Flying Potato. Great to see you here. It was so great to meet you at Vid Summit. I see a lot of Nick Nimmin love. That is the hashtag. If you want to get chosen, we are using Streamyard giveaway tool. We're hashtagging Nick Nimmin in here. He's been very Nimminati, if you know what I mean. That might Ike is sitting here dying from all the puns. A pun a day makes Ike's heart give out just a little. Again, in honor of Nick, I'm gonna go ahead and drink. Good to see you here, Marky Sharky. Nick is the reason I'm here. Watched his video this morning. Well, thank you so much for being here. Nick is a great friend. Nick is Andrew about to choose him without the randomness. I see that Magic Flying Potato said, awesome to meet you at Vid Summit as well. Planning on getting my Vid Summit 2023 ticket soon. Vid Summit is a great event. If you're unaware, Vid Summit is a massive event that is co-owned by Mr. Beast, run by Daryl Eves, who is a very, very smart YouTube strategist. He always says on his opening channel trailer intro, at least it used to be, nobody knows YouTube quite like him. It is true. He has been a part of some of the biggest channels. He is a great creator and have had the pleasure of working with him many a times. Vid Summit, great event. So yeah, definitely one of those you should check out. Last call for the hashtag Nick Nimmins here in the chat. If you want to get featured, all you got to do is put in hashtag Nick Nimmin. I see we have a couple of entries. Want to give people the opportunity. It is exactly as it is spelled on screen. Hashtag Nick Nimmin. He has been very Nimminati. All right, I think we are ready. Hopefully we can go ahead and get this rolling. Let's share my screen for Nick Nimmin. Hip, hip, hooray for the Nick of the Nimmins. All right, Ike is not in here, but if I get chosen, I'm going to be upset. Marky Sharky. Well, congratulations. Ike is like, thank God it wasn't me. Marky Sharky, you are up now. So let's go ahead and check out Marky Sharky. And don't worry, folks, if you want to get reviewed, maybe you didn't get chosen. We have the Discord server. I'm going to pull you up in just a second, Marky Sharky, I promise. I just want to show how another way you can get reviewed is our Discord server. So one thing you can do is we have our YouTube feedback section. We have the Discord server linked in the description. All you have to do to get feedback is give feedback to someone else. We have a forum where you can go in depth. One of the people we pulled from earlier was, Ember Sky Media, where I got to really know what they were looking for in feedback. So we're going to be pulling another person from the Discord really soon here. So if you want another chance to get featured, go ahead, give feedback to someone else while you're watching. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Super excited for it. Love the Discord. I know a lot of you have come from there. A lot of you have joined recently, thanks to Mr. Nick Nimmin, our hashtag choice. I'm pulling up Marky Sharky now, and we're just going to have some fun. So, Marky Sharky, you have been pulled. You have been tapped. Marky Sharky says, and I quote, "Feel free to be brutally honest." All right. Well, to be fair, sharks are actually gentle giants of the ocean. Maybe that is not the best naming. But welcome to my gaming channel. First thing I would say, and we showed this off a little bit, and it's a common thing that a lot of people don't know how to do. Nick Nimmin does this well. Hashtag Nick Nimmin. But welcome to my gaming channel. I would say welcome to Marky Sharky, my gaming channel. Here's why. If someone is looking for your name, Nick will be our example once again. Nick Nimmin. Notice how this is in bold here. Nick does this because Nick knows. Nick knows. Nick tells. Nick loves. Nick Nimmin is not accidentally bolded here. YouTube is looking when people search for a match between what they search, what the channel keywords are, and what the channel name is. So make sure to always include your YouTube channel name in your about. Another thing is, if I'm being brutally honest, while I like the name Marky Sharky, if I have never seen your channel before, I don't know if I get gaming from this banner. I get sharks, and you gotta remember, YouTube is trying to find matches. Make sure your YouTube doesn't think you're a shark channel. I don't think they do, because I think you obviously have a lot of games, you have a lot of stuff in the content. But if I'm brand new and I've never seen your channel, I don't necessarily get gaming from this. And that's just, again, fresh eyes and never seen it. I also, if I'm a user, if I don't know what games you play, I wouldn't have any idea. Now, again, your about has it, but again, as I've said a couple times in the stream, YouTube is very clear that not a lot of people check out the about section, right? So you have all this great information here, but none of it's in your banner. Most of the time, your audience is going to be on your home, your videos, shorts, live, playlist. If they make it to the about, they're very dedicated. So I would just say, you do streams. I had no idea based on this that you did streams. I think that, it could have been there. And I see here, I intentionally left it vague as I've been meaning to pivot games, but haven't found time. Again, this is one of those things where if your audience comes to your channel page, that's a dedicated person. They don't really know what to expect. I understand leaving it intentionally vague, and I think you can. You can say new games and streams weekly. I stream, you don't have to say what games they are. You just have to give any indication that what the content is. And it could be like, I see, in addition to regular, I also host live streams every weekend. You can join me, come join the Marky Sharky, bunch. I don't know. But you're gonna know your people better than I will. But it just gives something to someone who's brand new. Now, next, I played Fall Guys for 6 hours until I got my first crown. The only thing I would say whenever you're titling your videos, the eye, especially on YouTube, to a viewer makes the video all about you. Maybe change it to playing Fall Guys for 6 hours until I got my first crown, because then, until getting the first crown, that could work a little bit more, because you don't want the audience to feel the video is all about you. I'm pointing this out. You said be brutally honest, is because you don't want people to think all you care about is you. Because again, as a new user, the next thing I see is go to this affiliate link and it's an ad. Oh, is this channel full of ads? Again, this is me not knowing. I don't believe that is who you are. I've seen it happen though. So keep in mind how you present your channel is super important. Again, I know nothing about you just from here, and the first thing I see is an ad. So keep that in mind. Next thing is, when I start here, I see videos and popular videos. I would recommend customizing this experience for your users. Videos will feature all your videos, yes, but there's a new next level that you can do. Again, I'll go back to Nick Nimmin, since a lot of people, found us through Nick Nimmin. So if you look here, there's a lot of intentionality, right? Nick Nimmin's most recent YouTube tips immediately gives value to see what you do. Step-by-step guide, news and updates. And then they feature channels that they work with. It makes sense. For Nick, he is so ingrained with this. It makes sense. And he's to a point where he loves giving back. I mean, he literally shouted out this. So thank you, Nick. Love you. But it's just an example. I mean, we can go to other gaming channels that do it too. I think it's just important that what you learn from this is like, what content can you feature? And this can help with your bit, of what new people, if you are changing your games with new people. It's sort of a similar title format to Mr. B titles. A lot of them start with I did XYZ. I would say what I would say to that is that Mr. B has earned the authority to have the I. Not saying that you haven't, but I'm just saying that he's put in so much work that when people see Mr. Beast, they understand who I is. Understand who I is. That is technically correct grammar. Just doesn't sound right. And so there's a level of authority. I think Nick Nimmin could pull that off. Not saying that you can't, but I'm just saying you have to remember that at a certain point, this video compared to your others at 319 is definitely not performing, I think, in the way that you want. So I would say that I would maybe recommend keeping it a little more audience focused on what they could be interested in. I see you say you don't have enough content. Again, I'm just saying as I see it. I see GTA 5. I see popular videos. I definitely think you might have more content than you think. Like if I'm scrolling here and there's all these pieces, you definitely have different pieces. If you're changing the games you do frequently, there's ways that you can still have fun with that. If you're doing more streams, you can feature like streams that people can get interested in or highlights from the streams. There's a lot of ways that you can have more content and that you can do those things. Andrew's new merch, who I is shirts, hoodies, cup, mugs. But that's just, again, you asked for brutal honesty. I'm trying to give it, but also just trying to think as a new user is that it's super important that that first interaction with you is one of those where they're like, oh, I love this channel. How can I watch more? And right now, there are ways you could do like my favorite videos, past live streams, clips from streams, things like that. Just give people more context. Again, you've gotten quite a large community here, 14.7K subscribers. That's hard to build. You're in the top percentage of YouTubers. But how we go from this to bigger is by just a couple of more things that are a little bit more friendly, having better calls to actions with, between the pieces of content. And again, what Mr. Beast does very well is he understands YouTube to a level. Again, he works with Daryl Eves. He's had many a time to study it. Mr. Beast understands that YouTube wants to have easy connections from one piece to another. And how he does that is by recommending content in video, similar thumbnails, by having people talk about it word of mouth. That is so important. So I would say for you, you have a lot of content. Make playlists that can, one, YouTube recommends playlists. And oh my gosh, I didn't realize this until now. The in between, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for the review, Andrew, and to Ike for moderating. We greatly appreciate you. I would say I would review your channel if you want. We've kind of reviewed one. If you have another, I know you have multiple. So maybe we look at that a little bit later in the stream. Great to see you as well, Susie. Hey, Andrew, I saw you're live and had to stop by. He loves his lives. John, you're a lot of fun. Andrew has great live streams. Well, thank you, Magic Flying Potato. I do my best. But, Marky Sharky, I would also say you have a lot of humor that I'm seeing everywhere but in this homepage. And I would really just take some of that time. This is your Netflix, right? This is your homepage. I see there are member-only videos. I had no idea you had a membership. Like, there's a lot that we can have here. There's travel logs. There's some more content. You do feature playlists, but it's so far down. And you have your blogging channel. If you are going to feature another channel, having your other channel makes sense. It's one of those things that I would keep in mind for a new viewer is you want to make it as clear as possible, as Mr. Beast does. When you come to the content and the channel, it's clear what he does. You watch one and you get it. when I look here, I don't necessarily know if the Fall Guys for 6 hours is doing that for you. And I would maybe look at your videos to what videos you have get you the most subscribers. Put that up front. What videos you have causes people to watch more videos. All of this you can find in analytics. That should be a featured video. Or you can always make a dedicated channel trailer. I kind of steer against that because it, can quickly become out of date. And I don't want you to put a lot of effort into a dedicated video that could become out of date, but just some food for thought when it comes to it. And looking here, Marky Sharky says the videos that do the best for me are my GTA guides, but that's because they hit search terms. So if you're trying to branch out, and again, it goes to pivot, if you find success with guides, YouTube's going to put you in a guide space. So maybe your guides around GTA can be a little bit more absurd and fun. I think there are a lot of channels that do that well. Gaming is hard, especially nowadays, because it's not oversaturated, but YouTube definitely is trying to give more context and clarity to what content is. So what YouTube tries to do is label similar content together to find the best experience for viewers. But as a creator, it can be difficult to balance that with what you want. So what I would say is I think your channel is really good. I think you've proven that you know how to grow a community. I would just say consider that if someone's brand new and doesn't know you, make it so easy to understand what you do that they just click and watch more, and it's almost like turning off the brain. And I think turning off and enjoying the content is ultimately what people want to do. Or if they're finding the content so helpful that they're like, "Oh, what else can I learn from you?" There are definitely ways you can do that. So, that's something to keep in mind. I also noticed, did you mean to have this video here in your GTA 5, the top 21 thumbnails to grow fast on YouTube? Because otherwise, it's just a little random in your GTA 5 playlist. Just gonna say that. Marky Sharky's like, that's a mistake. I removed it. Well, at least we know what Marky Sharky is watching. Just kidding. If I were to give you a grade, I'm gonna give you a KDC with no exclamation mark. Because your mark's in the name. And also, here's Marky Sharky. Thank you for letting me take a look at your channel. I hope that gives you some unique perspective. I mean, I've looked at a lot of channels and gamings. Mark said, I saw that as soon as you started screen sharing. I was like, what? Oh no, I've done that too. I actually did that once. I was watching, I wish it was a little bit more exciting. It was an IKEA shelf hack. And I was talking to this creator. They're like, so you do IKEA videos? I'm like, what? And I'm like, uh-oh. No, that's not. Yes, I am an IKEA shelf channel. I love my IKEA shelves. If you are not subscribed, no shelf content is coming unless it's the YouTube short shelf. Not every joke lands. I'm sorry for that. But we're going to go ahead and go to the Discord. Oh, that old IKEA pivot. You know, it's just what all the people are doing. You know, I agree with this one. YouTube makes it too easy to fat finger and add a video to a playlist. Absolutely. Well, I promised, and so it will be. We are going to go ahead and look at the Discord to pull the next one. So, who are we going to take a look at? I think we're going to go ahead and go into Persian YouTube Academy. I know that we were having conversations there. I actually, if you guys think that I don't pull Nick Nimmin as an example, I do, especially since recently a lot of people came from Nick Nimmin. So this is Backpacker Sam, comes from the Discord. And don't worry, folks, we are still going to pull from this chat. Just got to make sure to keep things interesting. It seems like TubeBuddy is working on that. So looking at Backpacker Sam, I gave a little bit of feedback in the Discord, but I want to make sure that I get an opportunity to pull it here. And what we were talking to Backpacker Sam about was just some of the ideas behind the titling and just ways to think about content. I think that, 24 hours in London, we had this conversation in the Discord, but I think that I like the idea of this. I think it's so cool. One thing that Mr. Beast does very well, again, I bring up Mr. Beast because we talked about him earlier, is he gives a time, what he's doing, and stakes, right? And 24 hours in London, I think gives time, gives a place. But what are the stakes? What are the compelling reasons to click? Maybe this could be, instead of 24 hours in London, how much can you do with 24 hours in London? I would immediately want to know what I could do with 24 hours in London, because it's a lot more compelling, right? So it's understanding that there is, oh, apparently it's just me, but there is some stuff we can do here. And if you're going to have a part one and part two, I would definitely, I mean, it's a little confusing because, you want to make sure that when you're giving a video, especially like this, I feel like this could have been cut into one video with like some really good thinking and timing. And if you're going to be traveling, which again, backpacker Sam, there's so many ways you can do this. Like, what can I do? Like, there's actually a couple of YouTubers I watch that are in the travel niche, and they do videos like that. And it's so interesting because they don't know what's going to happen through the day. And a lot of times they're like, I've always heard of this. They're having fun. They're experimenting. They're filming. They're laughing because it's an absurd premise, but it's so much fun to watch. Not saying that this isn't fun to watch. I'm just saying that it's a little confusing. Also, it's, if I'm a new user, curious why we're starting on part 2 here. Also, I'm not sure what the parts do. I know this is a similar feedback that was given in the Discord as well, from the in between. So that's something to keep in mind. I do like that you have, playlists, you're thinking playlists in mind. Your strategy is to keep them. It's very smart. You again, start your playlist, build with them in mind, because YouTube will use playlists to group like-minded content. I would also recommend, while you're traveling and as you're making friends, if they have YouTube channels, maybe feature like their content with you in London. That's a good way to cause YouTube to like build a gap between pieces of content. I see that you also have shorts, and your shorts are doing well. I've seen a mouse in the London Underground. I got my picture printed on my pint of Guinness. Like, that should have been a full video. And maybe that's in the Dublin video. But I wouldn't know that based on this. And it's like, I'm seeing some bits of story that might be a little more interesting than what we're presenting here. And that's just, looking at the channel, looking at some of that. We talked about this in the Discord as well. I would say, hi, I'm Backpacker Sam. My plan on this channel is to travel to every country. Again, keep this a little bit more targeted and planned, because YouTube will be using that. Another thing I would say is, Backpacker Sam, don't miss out new videos every week. Learn how you can travel, maybe learn how you can travel smarter, learn how you can, do those things. So, just a way for someone who's brand new. I like the branding. I love this color scheme. I like your backpack here. I like the yellow and the blue, and I like I think this looks great. I would just say there's a couple more things of text you could do. If you want to have the more, similar to what Ike's Alternative and my banner does, where it's like, help us hit our subscriber goals, you could say, instead of subscribers, you can say that you use your subscriber number as it, but 21 travelers helped, or 21 adventurers joining me, or something like that. Just have some fun with it. So that's just another way that we can, look at that and do that. But I hope that helps, Backpacker Sam. I know we gave a lot of help in the Discord down below. We talked about branding. We talked about how you can improve, maybe using a little bit more of some Adobe Express stuff. So I think that, what you're doing is really good. So this is a great question from Genealogy with Amy Johnson Crow. I've actually been asked this a few times. I don't find that it confuses people that are familiar with YouTube. I think it's more of a reminder. What might be confusing nowadays, though, is, and this is actually a good point, is if people are looking for a red button and YouTube has changed it to be this black or white, depending on what screen type you're using, the red subscribe button isn't what it used to be. So that's actually a very valid point. So it's not that it will confuse them by having it not being clickable. It'll confuse them because the button color changed. So just a really good observation there. And more observations that we can have are pulling more people for the giveaway. Let's have some fun. We're gonna have a new term. we are going to be using it, and I will put it in the chat. So if you're enjoying the stream and you want to make sure that others know what we are having here, we are doing some good stuff, I think. We are going to just have another hashtag for us all. And that hashtag today is DDoes. Don't worry, I'll put it on screen for you. Hashtag DDoes. What does he do? DDoes. So just going on, having a little fun with, we had Nick last time. Now we're having DDoes. What does D do? He does. That's all we know. So make sure to enter it in for hashtag DDoes. That's what we're looking for. DDoes. What does D do? He does. He loves. I guess I don't know. We're just giving D a lot of homework, really. So D does. That's what we're doing. What are we doing? We're doing D does. And again, once we have this, we're gonna go ahead. If you want to know what tool I'm using, it is Streamyard, linked in the description. Great tool. Been working with them for quite a bit. They, have been so kind to the server. Love what they're doing, and let's pray for Ember Sky Media one day that his internet can keep up. Prayers, thoughts and prayers. Jokes aside, having a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining me here today. I always enjoy. What's this hashtag for? I had to step out. Oh, it's just to get a chance to be featured, Ember Sky, to get your channel looked at. So it's for the, giveaway to get your channel looked at. That's kind of how we're doing it. I like this method because it encourages, people to watch. It's a little bit, they can understand how it's chosen. I definitely would like to thank Dee and Daniel for their streams. They showed this tool. There actually will be a video soon on the Streamyard channel on how to use this. So definitely recommend checking it out. I think there already is one. It might just be a bit out of date. But gonna head. We're gonna go some D does. What does he do? He does. That's what he does. D does. But while we're doing that, shout outs to everyone who's been here. Nerd, Michael Ryberg, Jensen, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ike, we've had Gramme, we've had Magic Flying Potato, we've had John Pullum, we've had Marky Sharky, we've had the In Between, we've had so many different people. We've had Skatha, we've had 80s Guy, we've had a lot of different people. I'm just very happy with AZVN, as in Mrs. Carr's questions answered. We've had a lot of people, and I've been very thankful to have you all here with me. D does. I believe the capitals are needed. I see Ike is like, yes, I believe it does need it. It is hashtag D does. He does not know where. Neither did Nick know that they were the inspiration for the hashtags, but now they do. If they ever do, they do. All right, let's go ahead and pull. Let's see what D does. D is dozen. D's dozen. That's also a fun one. Who are we getting? Ember Sky. Ooh, too bad. We're drawing again. Ember, you were chosen before. Draw again. I could have done this earlier, but I found it more fun when I picked. It turns out to be Ember again. I'm like, Skatha. Okay, very nice. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that. I hope I am. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. One thing you'll learn about me pretty quick is that pronunciation is hard, and I do my best. Skatha. Now, I will again, as I search for your channel, Skatha, I would recommend putting your channel name here. So say, I'm Skatha, a content, hi, I'm Skatha. I would say my main goal is to help and entertain all of you in forms of guides and informational videos. It keeps the channel name, within the description. It helps if people are searching for it. I don't think, it would take too much to add. It's just a short, redone. So yeah. Nerd, it's not that big of a deal. I can just go ahead and redraw. So when I click on your channel, though, immediately I know what to expect. TubeBuddy not working. No, jokes aside. Gaming, immediately I see your logo. I see some of the games I'm assuming you either have covered or interested in. I see lots of them up front and center. Maybe it's the 2 games you're currently playing. Right away, if I'm interested in this type of content, I know what to expect. Pretty solid. Only thing I would say maybe to consider is that on multiple screens, where is this getting cut off? That is something I'd consider as well. I know that there's Thumbs Up TV that that Ike brought. So yeah, I see that people are saying I'm no expert, but banner looks good. Miss Carr's question answered. So I like the banner. I would say that it's pretty does a pretty good job of letting me know what to expect. Only thing I worry about with a banner like this, and I do caution, is that I don't want your identity as a creator or brand to be overshadowed by the games you're featured. Not saying that it is, but it is something that, just keep in mind that you want people to, you know, to know you outside of these games too, and just to have a clear identity of who you are. I don't know if that's necessarily shown here, so that's something just to kind of keep in mind. If we go to your about section, I see that, you do a really great job of, explaining what you're doing. You said my name IRL is Tommy. Tommy? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. You know, father of four. This is great. It's a lot of personality. I'm not sure if that's in the banner. Again, just kind of keeping those things. I see that you have some hashtags here. Keep in mind that the channel keywords is kind of where YouTube wants you to put that kind of information. So you get channel keywords that help you really understand what your channel is about. I see that you have members, and it's great that you have them featured. I see you have videos. Similar to what I've given feedback to other people, is that you do have some of this content in playlist. Make sure that you feature them maybe a little bit higher, because as it is, I don't know where you want me to start. The first thing I see is Hogwarts Legacy. I'm like, okay, so you want me to look there. Okay, here's a Hogwarts Legacy video, so that's one, but look at the rest. Like, what happens if there's not a Hogwarts Legacy piece? And again, I point this out because this is how the channel looks from an outside perspective. Shorts are here. I don't mind featuring shorts on the desktop. I would keep in mind that maybe you should put shorts a little lower and other pieces of content a bit higher, because ideally, the difference between shorts, especially if someone comes to your channel, is okay, I've started on one short. Oh, I'm in all your shorts, but eventually when you run out, if you do, YouTube, as I'm scrolling through, sorry for your watch time here, Scatha. Actually, I'll stop just for that. But eventually YouTube will put other pieces of content here, or people might click away. So just keep that in mind. And sometimes when people get into a shorts feed, what they'll do is, oh, when wanted to go back to the homepage, just so they're in normal YouTube. Just kind of keep that in mind as as a creator. So I maybe put those a little lower. Similar to channels to check out, I think it's more beneficial if you have actual, you know, collabs with them, because the way you don't want to accidentally end your time with people by giving them to someone else. And it's more beneficial that if you want to shout out these other creators, that you have either pieces of content or you have a playlist with similar content. So that's something I'd consider there. I also would say, you do such a great job of showing us what to expect, but like the entryway to those pieces is kind of a mystery and a hunt. And maybe that's because you like all the artifact and tomb locations, but I don't want to have to find a guide to understand where you want me to go on your YouTube channel. Hopefully that makes sense. But I think your channel is very solid. Like, your thumbnails are good. I would just say maybe, again, as a new user, just think about how you want them to get started. Like, what paths do you want them to go down? Because you make guides and show where things are. Your channel should be so easy to understand at that level too, that I can click here and know exactly what you want, where you want me to go, and it's that simple. So that's pretty much that there. I mean, clearly you're doing a good job. You have members, you have a good subscriber base. I think you're very clear everywhere else. It's just I don't know where you want me to start from here. And it's kind of a little confusing. So that would be my only thing, is just add more clarity, because it's weird because you have so much clarity. When you don't have clarity, it becomes confusing. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the K, the D, the C, and the C, but no exclamation mark. I just need that clarity, and once you do, you get that exclamation mark. Hopefully that helps, Skatha. I appreciate you so much for all your conversations on the Discord. I think that what you're doing is spot on, just some minor tweaks on the channel side. We do sometimes video review streams where we kind of go more in depth there. So if you want one of those, of course, there's the feedback section, which I'm sure you're aware of, and you can get a little bit more feedback. We have a lot that we do over there on that Discord. Skatha said solid advices. Thank you so much for letting me take a look at it. And, speaking of that Discord, I know we have a lot of new people here who may not be familiar. Just want to go ahead and show off our Discord server, right? So in our Discord server, we have rules and roles. On it, you can tell us what level of creator you are. You should absolutely fill these because it helps us, understand what level you are. Helps us know what kind of content creator you are too. So just some things you can do there. But there we have our forums and the rules, and there's the YouTube feedback. You need feedback on your channel or video? Click on this, and it's going to take you to this section. And here we have the read this first before you post. You need to review someone else to get a review. Basically, if you don't follow the instructions below, it will be deleted. This is a great way to do this. Andrew's Discord is not on the screen. Biggest fail is lay down. Well, you know what? We can do this again. That's the beauty of live, right? So we'll start from the very beginning. A very good place to start. If you're brand new, thank you for joining us. Or if you've been watching, you know the deal. So you head to the Discord server linked in the description. We have the rules. You go to YouTube feedback. Once you can, we have the read this before you post. If you don't follow these instructions here, your post will get deleted, but it's not that difficult. All you have to do is review another piece of content. So there are some pieces here that have no replies. This overall video audit would be a great one to get started on. Leave a piece of review. Once you do, you can let either the moderators know, you can let us know, and we're also checking daily. And you'll get the reviewed rule where you can then click post your own review. I called this one, Does My Channel Compel You? Here's the post. This is just the example, so I'll delete this. But you create your new post, you can get reviewed. It's a great way, especially if I haven't been able to pull you live here today. And that's just something I wanted to show. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for watching us live. It's been so much fun to get the chance to review everyone. If you want to watch more content, maybe how to add and make a YouTube banner for free, check out the video on screen. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too.